Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video. Big up your damn selves in the building. Make sure you smash up the likes every single damn time and subscribe if you are new. Now, we got a lot to discuss today because Julian Alvarez yesterday was the talk of the town. You know what I'm saying? His name was being whispered in the streets as a player that could be moving on from Manchester City due to a lack of game time. We know this season, due to Haaland's injury, he did get quite a bit of game time, but at other points in the season, he was playing as one of these advanced eights, this wacky experiment from Pep. For me, it personally didn't work. I didn't like seeing him in this advanced eight behind the striker position, but that's where he played a decent chunk of his football. Now, several clubs, according to this report, have approached Julian Alvarez, not only Atletico Madrid, but also PSG, showing interest. No proposals or negotiations, but several clubs keen also from England. Manchester City want to keep Julian Alvarez, but talks are with his camp, and following on from that, there is a possibility a big offer could come in from a Premier League club in the next few days for Julian Alvarez. Now, when we talk about a big offer, for me, it's minimum 50 million rising to 70, somewhere in that range, purely because he's still got a large amount of time left on his contract. He's Premier League proven, right? And he gets goals. There's no doubt about it that Julian Alvarez gets goals. I'm looking at his stat line here. 11 goals this season in the Premier League, 9 assists in 36. Like I said, you kind of have to remember that he's not always played as the striker. Sometimes he's played just behind the striker. But 5 goals in 7 Champions League games and 2 goals in 2 games in the Club World Cup. He's a very, very accomplished finisher. If you remember his time at River Plate, able to finish with both feet, able to finish from distance. If you remember the World Cup, for me, he was actually the better option in comparison to a Lautaro Martinez, who always bags goals in Serie A. He came into that Argentine side and looked really, really lively, looked very good. Really good movement and a really good finisher. Now, for us, in terms of Chelsea, because we have to say that Chelsea maybe are one of those clubs that could come in. We have got links to Manchester City with Joe Shields. We have purchased Manchester City, former Manchester City players in Cole Palmer, in Lavia, in now Tosin as well from Fulham. We have our connections, we have our links. So, of course, there is the rumour that we are one of, if not the club that are going to go in for him. Now, we are looking for a striker. I really like the player. I think, especially with the responsibility of saying you are the number 9, you are the leading striker in a team, the confidence to take that mantle on and say that you are the guy that we're going to rely on, I think it only elevates his game. I think it only elevates his finishing and his composure in the final third. His movement, like I said, his runs in behind. We saw it for Argentina. Enzo Fernandez, the relationship that they have, playing those passes in behind. But, I will be honest, there are certain things that we are meant to be looking for in a striker that he can't give us. For instance, we know the midfield isn't the tallest, isn't the most aerially, it's not got the biggest presence. So maybe our striker is the one that we're going to bring in to give us the option for defensive set plays to defend, to give Reece James the option to cross, to give a potential Olise, if you were to bring a player like that in, a brilliant crosser of the ball. You're looking for players that can attack the ball aerially. Alvarez isn't going to do that. He's won like 17% aerial success rate per game in the Premier League this season. He's not going to give you much aerially. From a hold-up standpoint against big defenders, even though technically he's very secure, physically, I think Jackson is, ahead of him in terms of being able to hold up the ball and be able to, take on 2 strong, athletic defenders. So from that standpoint, we're gaining in the finishing and in the movement. We're losing in the physicality, the hold-up play, the aerial ability. Don't think Jackson's great in the air at all, but as the season went on, he started to show slight improvements. So is he the profile that we should be going for? Listen, it's one of those players that if we bring in, we are compromising, I think, on some of the attributes that we're meant to be looking for. But he is also such a good striker, in my opinion, that he just guarantees goals. And I think he would work and link up quite nicely with a lot of our players. I can see a scenario where him and Nkunku are playing as like a potential front 2, with Nkunku just dropping off, playing those passes in behind for Alvarez. I can see him and Jackson linking up very well. I can see, the telepathic movement and the understanding of where he's going to be in comparison to when Enzo Fernandez or Cole Palmer have the ball, and them just knowing he's going to be in the right positions at the right times. He's got all of those striker instincts that you look for in terms of his movements and making those runs. So I like him a lot. Obviously, it depends on the price, of course. We'll see what Man City are even looking for. If they're not really open to selling, but if they're forced to sell, if he's that unhappy. And then we'll go from there. But yeah, you let me know in the comments down below. It's a compromise, I think, but his ball striking ability is so good, and he's such a good striker of the ball, such a good shooter, that you just know he's getting goals. It's just maybe we're going to have to definitely tailor our play to low crosses, cutbacks, and everything has to be more precise. You can't just put that ball into a space, put that ball into an area and expect someone to attack it with their head, which is the get out of jail clause you could ask for in a system or in a team that maybe on its day is just not working out for him. You need a plan B. This is more in the shape of you must cater to him and you must play to feet and you must play to his strengths. So yeah, you guys let me know in the comments what you think about that. Alvarez could be a potential move. We've got a lot of links. Now, I also want to talk about Lukaku because he has said that he's open to moving to Saudi. We know that Napoli are interested because of Conte. Please pay. Now, I don't think Napoli have £38 million just lying around unless they sell Osimhen to maybe a PSG, or we've ruled ourselves out unless somebody pays for Osimhen. We know they have a massive asking price. Wouldn't surprise me at this point if Osimhen just ends up staying at Napoli and no one comes in for him because they can't afford him. But we need Osimhen to move if Napoli are going to be able to afford the 38 million release clause for Lukaku. We know the wages have come down because there was a new deal that was, kind of struck up before he made his loan to Roma, but we need someone to pay the money. And it's only Napoli in Europe that are probably interested. AC Milan trying to get a loan. We're not doing a loan. That's been reported by Fabrizio. However, good news. Saudi. The quotes are king. Lukaku. Saudi Arabia wouldn't stop me. The level will only rise there to a much higher level than people think. More and more footballers will tend to play there. All the major European top clubs know that Saudi is coming. Please bid now. Take this man out of my football club and do it fast. He's an incredible player. He's strong. He's quick. Great first touch. Great finish. Belgium's leading all-time goal scorer. Big game player. Trophy collector. Bald. No hair follicles like KG. Main man for the main event. Bring him to Saudi. You will not regret it. I love Lukaku. You'll love him more. Take him off my hands, I beg of you. His wages have been decreased. You can inflate them back up if you wish. The fact that he's talking like he actually could make that move, it is music to my ears. Bellissimo. Bellissimo. Make this happen. Make it happen yesterday. Make it happen last week. I'm telling you now, the fact that he's open to this, because guys, he wasn't always open to this. Previously, he was like, not really sure. I kind of want to stay in the big leagues. My ego. I'm the next Suarez, Lewandowski. Now he's like, I've accepted my fate. Saudi is the place for me. Take that man there. Bid quick. I am so happy to see this quote. It gives me a realistic chance that he will go on a permanent deal, not a loan, because we don't want to waste any more loan spaces. We've only got so many international loan spaces. 6 international loan spaces FIFA are given. That's it now. So I don't want to waste it on him. So yes, if they can come in and purchase, that release clause is more than affordable for them. Please make it be done. So that's brilliant news. So that's on the striker front. I want to move on quickly to just a little insert is that Man United apparently did make a late attempt to try and hijack the Tosin deal. Yesterday we were speaking about Chelsea copying other people's transfer targets. Seems like it's been full circle, just kind of want to throw that in there. But also Chelsea Chiefs are feeling that Olise would prove a good fit at Stamford Bridge and put him alongside Madueke, as we said yesterday with Secret Scout. This is going to be backed up again by another journalist and provide a strong option on that right wing. They're both, Madueke is more like a gung-ho, attack, your fullback every time he receives the ball. Olise is more maybe cultured in the way that he's going to play. He's going to look for the link-ups. He's going to play those crosses. He's going to switch the play. He's going to join up with the midfield. So it's 2 completely different options. It's good balance on that right-hand side as long as Palmer is obviously in the 10 and you forget that we actually bought Esteval and coming in 2025. Also, Dortmund. We need to talk about Dortmund. Dortmund are trying to lowball us on a release clause that they agreed on. Make that make sense. You agreed £35 million, right? £35 million pound sterling you agreed in the release clause when we sent him out on loan to you. You've basically played him every game at left back. You've played him all the way through a Champions League run to the final. And now they're trying to lowball us with an initial offer. This is all according to Fabrizio Romano, 25 million euros. So it's less, it's not 10 million differential. It's more than that. It's probably about 12, 13. It's ridiculous. If we're not going to keep this player, and I personally don't have much confidence, purely because pure profit, and we've got two very expensive, high wage earners at left back in Cucurella and Chilwell. You'd have to move one of them on before you could entertain keeping Maatsen. There's no point in coming back to a situation where it doesn't favour him politically. So, if you're going to sell him, and I've kind of made peace at this point, then Bayern Munich, where are you? Because Vincent Kompany, you've worked with him before. Alphonso Davies is still trying to make a move to Real Madrid. That's what's also being reported today as well. That deal is not dead in the water. And obviously Bayern Munich don't want to let him go on a free, so they're probably going to have to take a bit of a cut in terms of the transfer fee that Real Madrid are not prepared to pay 50 million euros. There's going to have to be a bit of a negotiation. He's not going to sign a new deal. Maatsen is right there. Please pay us our money. If you're not going to keep him, Chelsea, make sure you get the full 35 million whack, because 25 million euros is a disrespect. This man helped them to the Champions League final. We're not taking no low ball offer here. So hopefully Bayern Munich or someone will come in with this release clause that we've put up there, because I don't know what Dortmund think they're doing, but this is not it's not a thrift store. This is not a thrift shop. This is not a market. You don't come to the brother on stall and start negotiating and saying, oh, we'll pay you this, and no. There's a price. There's labels. This might even be a shop where we don't even do prices, where you just have to walk in with your money and actually be confident that you can purchase what you're in the shop for. One of those places. But no, we've put the labels on there. We've put the price tags on there. So please pay. This is not a negotiation. We're not doing tactics here. We're not doing back and forths. And also, Kepa is desperate to leave the club. No surprise. Chelsea this summer will hold talks with the newly appointed Enzo Maresca in the coming days to find the best solution for him. Listen, we're not going to be able to keep Kepa, Sanchez, Petrovic, Bettinelli's there by default. It's not going to run. So Kepa definitely needs to leave. And yeah, it's been quite the contract for him. 7 years he signed on for. And it's looking like he's just going to walk for very, very much a fraction of what we paid back in 2018, I believe, from Athletic Bilbao. Record fee for a goalkeeper. We'd be lucky if we get 10 million right now, I'll be honest. After what happened at Real Madrid, he basically didn't even dislodge the second choice, which is what he was meant to do, coming in for the Courtois ACL. So, yeah, a lot going on at the moment. Personally, like I said, I still think we're in a good position potentially for Olise. We're moving aggressive on that one. Lukaku opening up to Saudi. Beautiful news. Music to my ears. Get a deal done there for the release clause. Someone, Bayern Munich, potentially coming for Maatsen and pay the money. Maybe that is linked to Alphonso Davies, just as Napoli and Lukaku is maybe linked to Osimhen. And of course, Tosin is done, and Alvarez is watch this space, because it'll be very interesting to see if it's only us in the Premier League. I wouldn't be surprised if Man United are trying to get back for Carlos Tevez. That would never happen. Maybe Liverpool. I don't know. Man City will see these teams as a threat, so they'll probably bump up the price. It'll be interesting to see who goes in for Alvarez, because I think he's a very good player. Just are we compromising a little bit on the profile? But you guys let me know in the comments down below. Smash up the likes, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. In a bit, people. Peace. Thank you.